Ralph Kiner.
The one great thing about Ralph is Ralph was always ready for a story.
Ralph's been famous since he was a teenager. I mean, he went out with Janet Leigh and Elizabeth Taylor.
He was a great player. I mean, he was a great home run hitter. He was disciplined, and he credits Hank Greenberg with a lot of things that Hank taught him as a rookie.
He was and is a unique human being in many respects. Number one, he loved the game. He loved the New York Mets.
Despite never having played an inning as a Met, he is as important a figure in this organization as just about anybody.
But again, the credibility that he brought to that show as a player and then an observer of the game for X number of years made it probably the easiest watched, and it was quirky in its own way, but one of the most enjoyable shows of that format that's ever been on the air.
And everybody loved to be on Kiner's Corner, especially in the early days. I mean, I remember, you used to get a $50 bill. You know, this is way back there.
Whoever it was with me, et cetera, the players when we were on Kiner's Corner, they were just a joy. And it was because it was so relaxed, because Ralph was so relaxed.
The thing that I remember most about Ralph Kiner was not how far he hit the ball, but how high he hit the ball and how far.
When Ralph Kiner was still eligible to come up in a 9-inning game, regardless of where the Pittsburgh Pirates were at the time, people stayed in the stands to wait to see him hit. That as much as any. Number one, when Ralph was a young man, he was a very, very good-looking man, and he dated all the stars in Hollywood.
August 29th, 1965, Shea Stadium. Willie Mays crushes his 17th home run of the month. In the broadcast booth, Ralph Kiner pauses. That is Mays' 41st home run of the season. It is also his 17th for the month of August, and establishes a National League record. He does not say whose record just fell. After the game, reporters ask why. His answer stuns them. What was I going to say? That he just broke my record? I was unhappy about it, and I do not mind admitting it. But who was Ralph Kiner? And why did a man with 7 consecutive home run titles need 15 years to reach the Hall of Fame? Before Ralph Kiner ever stepped onto a major league field, Pirates manager Frankie Frisch made a bold prediction. Kiner looks like he is going to be the best outfielder we have ever had. The kid had just returned from the Navy, where he spent nearly 3 years piloting planes, hunting Japanese submarines. He was 23 years old and built like a tank. 6 feet 2 inches, 195 pounds of raw power. But his rookie season started rough. He batted just .247 with 109 strikeouts, leading the league in the wrong category. Forbes Field was a pitcher's paradise, and Kiner managed only 8 home runs at home. Yet somehow, he finished with 23 home runs total, leading the entire National League. Kiner later admitted the truth. This was a fluke. Johnny Mize finished just 1 behind me, but missed several weeks with a broken wrist. Still, something was different about Kiner's home runs. They were not line drives. They were towering, high shots that cleared everything. Brooklyn Dodgers pitcher Kirby Higbee learned this the hard way. Kiner hit 10 home runs off him that season. Reportedly, Higbee sent Kiner a bill for those 10 homers. Pirates' attendance spiked. Fans came to watch Kiner swing, then left after his final at-bat. But 1946 was just the beginning. In 1947, a 36-year-old legend arrived to teach this kid how to become unstoppable. Hank Greenberg was 36 years old when he joined the Pirates for his final season. A Hall of Fame slugger, the Tigers legend came to Pittsburgh with one mission: hit home runs. The Pirates built Greenberg Gardens for him, moving the left field fence from 365 feet down to 335 feet. Everyone expected Greenberg to crush baseballs into that new bullpen area. On the first day of spring training, Greenberg approached Kiner with a simple suggestion: extra batting practice. That was lesson 1. Hard work separates good from great. The two became roommates on road trips, and Kiner later called Greenberg the single biggest influence of my adult life. Greenberg taught him technical skills, how to pull the ball, how to zone a pitch, but he also taught him something deeper. He lived first class and he taught me to do the same, Kiner said. For a kid who lost his father at age 4, Greenberg became more than a mentor. The results were dramatic. By the end of May, Kiner had only 3 home runs. Manager Billy Herman wanted to send him to the minors. Greenberg intervened, convincing owner Frank McKinney to be patient. From June 1st through the end of the season, Kiner exploded for 48 home runs. The final tally? Greenberg hit 25 home runs. Kiner hit 51, tying Johnny Mize for the National League lead. By season's end, sports writers stopped calling it Greenberg Gardens. They renamed it Kiner's Corner. Pirates' attendance increased 71%. The team tripled Kiner's salary to $30,000 for 1948. His teammate, pitcher Fritz Ostermuller, watched Kiner buy a Cadillac and said something legendary. Home run hitters drive Cadillacs. Singles hitters drive Fords. With his mentor's lessons absorbed, Kiner was about to accomplish something even Babe Ruth never did. From 1946 through 1952, Ralph Kiner did something unprecedented. He led the National League in home runs for 7 consecutive seasons. Not even Babe Ruth accomplished that feat. The breakdown tells the story. 23, 51, 40, 54, 47, 42, 37. 7 years, 7 titles. Baseball historian Bill James put it simply: Musial, Williams, DiMaggio, and Kiner. Those were the greatest outfielders of this period. The peak came in 1949. Kiner launched 54 home runs, the highest total in the National League from 1931 until 1998. That is more than Willie Mays ever hit in a single season. More than Hank Aaron ever hit in a single season. Only Hack Wilson's 56 in 1930 stood higher. But August and September of 1947 showcased something even more remarkable. On August 15th and 16th, Kiner hit 5 home runs in 2 consecutive games, tying the National League record. 1 month later, September 11th and 12th, he did it again. 5 more home runs in 2 straight games. Over 4 games total, he hit 8 home runs. That record still stands today. Hall of Fame pitcher Warren Spahn faced Kiner dozens of times. His assessment was simple and terrifying. Ralph Kiner can wipe out your lead with 1 swing. In the 1950 All-Star Game, Ted Williams fractured his elbow catching a line drive off Kiner's bat. The injury cost Williams a third of his season. Even the greatest hitter ever felt Kiner's power. The numbers were staggering. 1 home run every 14.1 at-bats, 5th all-time. He walked over 100 times for 6 consecutive seasons because teams feared him. He broke Babe Ruth's speed records, becoming the fastest player to reach 100, 200, and 300 career home runs. Kiner was untouchable, the highest-paid player in baseball by 1951. But one man was about to tear it all down. Branch Rickey arrived in Pittsburgh in 1950 with a legendary reputation. He had signed Jackie Robinson, breaking baseball's color barrier. He promised a 5-year plan to bring the Pirates a pennant, but he immediately clashed with his best player. The 1952 season was a disaster. The Pirates finished 42 wins and 112 losses, the worst record since 1935. Yet, Kiner still led the National League with 37 home runs. His salary was $90,000, making him the highest-paid player in baseball. Rickey's response? Cut his salary to $75,000. When Kiner protested, Rickey delivered one of baseball's most infamous lines. "We finished 8th with you, we can finish 8th without you." But that was not the worst of it. Baseball historian Bill James later discovered something shocking. Rickey had launched a systematic campaign to destroy Kiner's reputation, making him easier to trade. In a confidential letter to owner John Galbraith, Rickey wrote that Kiner would not throw or run and could not field, and could have no part ever in a pennant-winning club. Then came the most insulting statement of all. Rickey claimed, if you had 8 Ralph Kiners on an American Association team, it would finish last. The American Association was the minor leagues. Rickey was saying a team full of Ralph Kiners would finish last in the minors. On June 4, 1953, the Pirates traded Kiner to the Chicago Cubs in a 10-player deal that included $150,000 in cash. Pittsburgh fans were furious. They hanged Rickey in effigy. Some citizens proposed boycotting Forbes Field until Rickey was fired. Kiner switched uniforms that same day and played against the Pirates that afternoon as a Cub. Without him, Pirates attendance collapsed to 500,000 fans, down from over 1 million. Rickey had been proven catastrophically wrong. But here is what Rickey could never destroy: the numbers. Critics point to one number: 369 career home runs. They say it is not enough for the Hall of Fame. But context matters. When Kiner retired in 1955, he ranked 6th all-time in home runs, ahead of Joe DiMaggio and Johnny Mize. The efficiency tells the real story. Kiner's home run rate was 7.09%, 4th all-time among non-steroid users. Only Babe Ruth, Jim Thome, and Giancarlo Stanton rank higher. That puts Kiner ahead of Ted Williams. From 1946 through 1952, Kiner hit 100 more home runs than any other player in baseball. He beat Ted Williams, Stan Musial, and Joe DiMaggio. Nobody was close. His lifetime OPS plus was 149, better than Mike Schmidt, Vladimir Guerrero, and Albert Pujols. He ranks in the top 25 all-time. The critics also ignore the obstacles. Back problems forced his retirement at age 32. Navy service cost him 3 prime years, ages 21 through 23. If healthy for 15 or 20 seasons, where would his numbers be? Consider his best season. In 1949, Kiner hit 54 home runs with fewer than 50 strikeouts. Only one National League player ever topped 54 home runs before 1998, Hack Wilson's 56 in 1930. Kiner's total was higher than any single season by Willie Mays or Hank Aaron. His consistency was remarkable. 5 straight seasons with 40-plus home runs. 5 straight seasons with 100-plus runs batted in. 4 seasons with an on-base percentage above 400. And that record still stands. 8 home runs in 4 consecutive games. Ralph Kiner's philosophy was simple. I try to hit the ball as hard as I can every time I swing. The numbers prove it worked. But what did the legends of the next generation think? And how did Kiner handle watching them break his records? Willie Mays hit his 17th home run of August 1965, breaking Ralph Kiner's National League monthly record. Kiner was calling the game. After his honest admission of disappointment, he added something revealing. I still have the ball that I hit to break the record. It is back home with the rest of my collection. I guess I can throw it out now. Humor masking pain, but also respect for greatness. The Hall of Fame recognition took 15 painful years. In 1960, Kiner received just 3 votes out of 269. By 1967, support had jumped to 42%. In 1974, he reached 58%, still short. 1975 was his final year of eligibility. The result? 75.4%. Exactly 1 vote above the required minimum. Kiner became only the 3rd player elected with just 10 seasons of service, following Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella. I knew this was my last chance, he said. Maybe outwardly I appear calm, but that is probably because I faced a lot of 3-and-1 pitches with the bases loaded. His second career lasted even longer than his first. From 1962 until 2013, Kiner broadcast for the New York Mets. He joked, The Mets hired me because they looked at my background with the Pirates and saw that I had losing experience. Fans loved his accidental humor. If Casey Stengel were alive today, he would be spinning in his grave. Solo homers usually come with no one on base. These malapropisms became legendary. On July 14, 2007, the Mets honored him with Ralph Kiner Night at Shea Stadium. Tom Seaver gave a commemorative speech. Yogi Berra, Bob Feller, and Ernie Harwell attended. A full-circle moment for a man who changed baseball forever. Ralph Kiner passed away on February 6, 2014, at age 91. The Mets wore patches with his initials and a microphone. His impact had spanned 7 decades. We return to August 29, 1965. Willie Mays breaks the National League record for home runs in a single month. Ralph Kiner sits in the broadcast booth, watching his history become someone else's history. His admission was honest. "I was unhappy about it. I do not mind admitting it. They all mind." That honesty defined Kiner's entire career. From Frankie Frisch's prophecy to Hank Greenberg's mentorship. From 7 consecutive home run titles to Branch Rickey's betrayal. From trade humiliation to Hall of Fame vindication. Finally elected in his 15th and final year of eligibility by exactly 1 vote above the minimum. Kiner never became bitter. He spent over 50 years as a beloved Mets broadcaster, teaching new generations about the game. When asked about modern players, he said, "I think one of the most difficult things for anyone who has played baseball is to accept the fact that maybe the players today are playing just as well as ever." His legacy is not just 369 home runs or 7 titles. It is about one swing changing everything. It is about handling disrespect with grace. From 1946 through 1952, he hit 100 more home runs than Ted Williams, Stan Musial, and Joe DiMaggio. Your general manager can doubt you, the media can ignore you, your records will fall, but impact, that lasts forever. Every slugger who followed walked the path Ralph Kiner built. Fritz Ostermuller was right. Home run hitters drive Cadillacs. But Ralph Kiner's legacy? That drives itself.